Slurpty-derp my G's, how's it going? In this video I'm going to show you how to use some nice Foley sounds to layer up your snare drum, and it's a way that you can just create a lot more interest and character in your snare and also more variation as well. So I've got this loop here with a kick snare and a hat loop and just a bass line. And what we want to do is we want to layer up this snare here, and the best thing that you can do is get a sample pack full of Foley sounds. You can find many on the internet, there's loads out there, where they have a number of different kind of types of Foley folders, like, you know, like metal, wood, glass, all kinds of random stuff. You can find these online easily. If you're not sure, just go to Freesound as well, and you can also just get loads of free Foley sounds one by one on Freesound, and you can still find some great stuff there. But yeah, the idea is you want lots of different Foley samples with different movements and textures. I've got this sort of I don't know, shuffling from a kid's toy, or some like pieces of whatever being moved around. And then I've got some sort of glass breaking as well. And yeah, these interesting kind of little Foley textures are great for layering on a snare, especially when you chop them nice and short, you know? And so one of the coolest things you can do is to have like a few different versions, and then you can make each snare slightly different, right? And so what I've done for this one, I've done like a 1-2-1-3 approach, right? So basically your first snare and your third snare have the same sample on, but the second one has a different one and the fourth one has a different one. So there's a bit of continuity when you get back round to the third snare again, you know? If I play it with the snare here, so the fourth one is different, you know? So that's a nice way to have like a bit of a more interesting pattern. Okay, so you can do that with one, and then you can do the same with another layer. So here I've added the glass in as well, so we'll listen to that on its own. I've done the same technique. I've used the same one on the first and the third, and a different one for the second and the fourth. Okay, these ones are a little bit more subtle, right? So what we can do now, if we've got two Foley layers like this, is we can pan one left and one right. Let's pan the first one to the left a bit. And the second one to the right. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a bit of stereo spread is nice. Then what we can do is we can start to blend them a bit nicer with the snare. So first what I'll do is, I'll tell you what, as we've already sort of panned them like that, we can bounce them out, and now we can sort of process them as one together, you know. So we've got the glass and the kind of toy, they're all like in the same file now, you know. And then what we can do is we can add a bit of compression, and this is basically to control the overall volume, because some of the Foley sounds are louder than others, you know. So if we put on a bit of compression, just taking down the peaks, that's better. So it'll make the samples so they're more similar volume overall, you know. So not quite as extreme as it was before. So let's play that again now with our beat. And then what we can do is we can add some extra effects and stereo width. So let's perhaps add a little tight kind of reverb, like a small reverb from Valhalla, for example, like the splashy splace. That might be a bit too long. Yeah, the small and wide, that sounds good. Just dull the mix down a bit. That's really, really nice. Now we can add even more reverb. Perhaps we'll do a little convolution reverb using kilohertz, a really tight one, the white blur 50 milliseconds. That sounded great. So we kind of pushed it all to the back of the room now nicely, you know. And if we want to, we could add like a final reverb polish on everything and just do like a really subtle kind of longer reverb. There's nice little subtle long reverb tail on the sound as well, so it kind of give us a bit of background texture in our track as well, you know. So there you go, nice and subtle. And if we find it's a bit, if we still find it's a bit too sharp and we want to mix it in with our snare even better, we can do a little transient shaper and just soften the attack a bit. And then we really make sure that the long, that the main snare cuts through properly. It's transient, you know, the layer's not getting in the way of it too much, you know. And we can also check the low end, how much sort of rumble there is. There's a bit of, there's quite a lot of low frequencies that don't really need to be there. So we'll take those out. We go up to 500. Now we've got this really nice Foley, almost like sparkly layer. It sounds like it's got a nice, yeah, little magical sparkle to it, you know, from all the kind of reverbs that we've done on it. All we got to do now is turn it down a little bit in the mix until it kind of sits in a perfect spot. There you go, lovely, nice and easy Foley snare layer there. And if you take it out, loop's nowhere near as interesting. Much nicer with that layer on. So that's just one way that you can do it. And I picked out the Foley samples really quickly, you know. You don't have to spend ages like finding the perfect Foley sample, especially if you've got like a lot of different sounds to choose from. You can just throw in a few sounds, spend like 5 minutes or so picking a few sections out and chopping them up, layering them on the snare, and then yeah, creating a little bit of a pattern, so it's a bit of a call and response kind of thing with the layers. And then yeah, essentially, you know, if you've got two, like you could pan them out a bit. You don't have to do that either. You could just leave them straight and then add reverb on. And yeah, little subtle bits of reverb with different plugins to give different bits of color, and then just sort of, you know, compress it and mix it into the track, like mix it down into the background. That's the idea, you know. Yeah, it sounds really nice. Hope you guys like that. May I remind you as well before I leave, if you guys ever want any production lessons with me, you can book in via the links down below. If you want any mastering work done, send me an email, info@artifactmusic.com. If you guys want preset packs for Vital, Serum, Faceplant or Current, they are all available on my website. And if you'd like to support me, come along and join my Patreon. We have a great Discord community over there as well. All right, that's it from me today. More from me very soon. Much love.